All right. It's 3:05, and well, I think the number is sufficient. Anyone who joins us, atatukuta hapo katikati. I think we can start. Again, I would like to thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate you guys, and we're happy to have these sessions with you. This is the second of our innovation series. Last week we had one on empathy and idea generation, and today we have another one on rapid prototyping, and my colleague is going to facilitate on it. My name is Rachel Magodi, and for those who are not who don't know what Ifakara Innovation Hub is, so Ifakara Innovation Hub is a space that supports innovation and entrepreneurship. We work with youth and women to identify solutions that are going to solve most pressing challenges in our community. And we work in, our focus is on two major portfolios. Our first portfolio is health, where we look at solutions for healthcare with a focus on mostly medical devices, point of care diagnostics, AI, telemedicine, and virtual reality. And on the our second portfolio, rural livelihood, we look at solutions that are going to address challenges for people living in rural areas. So in that area, we look in the sector of agriculture, green economy and climate, and solutions for SMEs, which are mostly fintech. And more also, for startups within our portfolios, we provide different support for them. That includes we provide fundings to the startups to help them develop their ideas from when it's just an idea to reach a stage that it can commercialize. And we mostly give out seed fundings, depending on what they need. So we provide them with the amount of money that they require to develop the ideas. And we also do trainings, capacity building trainings. And these are mostly apologies. Okay. And these trainings are mostly to help them, to provide them with the basic tools and skill sets that will help them grow. So we look at, let's say, sessions like, or modules like human-centered design, business model canvas, and topics of such sort. So yeah, there are many more things that I would wish to talk about, but I don't want to take most of the time, so that my colleague can discuss more on the basic topic that we have today. So without further ado, I would like to welcome my colleague Adela to take over the session. Asanteni sana.
Mute. Hi, guys. Can you all hear me, and can you see the screen that I'm sharing?
Yes.
Yes.
You can? Okay. So, introducing myself, my name is Adela Salom, and I am the Fabrication Lab Coordinator here at Ifakara Innovation Hub. And today's session is going to be about innovating faster with rapid prototyping. Okay, so I have not failed. I've just found 1,000 ways that won't work. That's basically the general concept of prototyping. Prototyping is a sense of making variations of a certain product in many ways until you find a way that can work for you. Now, what is a prototype? A prototype is just an early model or the first version of your product. Now, product, a lot of people might just understand that it's just something tangible, but a product can be your phone application. So it bases both on software and hardware. So this is the first version or the early version that you're making or you're building in order to test the concept, whether does it work or does it not work until you can make your final product, because you wouldn't want to spend resources or money or time in just making one final product. And at the end of the day, it doesn't work, because a product depends on a lot of things. It depends on how does it work, on who exactly it's meant to work for, and how exactly is it going to work in different scenarios. So that's why making a prototype is very crucial in any design of a product that you're making. Now here we're looking at rapid prototyping. Rapid prototyping, even in the name itself, it's very straightforward, it's very clear. It's basically a process where you quickly develop a product in order for you to test it. So a process of quickly developing an approximation of the product along one or more dimension of interest. Now, in many fields, there's a great uncertainty as to whether a new design will actually do what it's desired. New designs often have unexpected problems, okay? Because sometimes you as a designer, you as a developer, you as an engineer, you can make a product and you think it works, but it won't work. That's why there's something called human-centered design. When you put the person or the user at the center of your design. Now, prototype is often used as part of product design process of allowing us engineers or developers or designers to have the ability to explore different design alternatives. So you want to see, depending on what exactly product you're making and who is it for, you want to see the different versions of how exactly your product can work according to the customers. And basically you test different theories, okay, to confirm the performance of that product. Now, the primary objective, as I said, is to improve before moving forward to a more expensive, because you wouldn't want to put now with rapid virtual create, but right now we have things like CAD and CAM, which are 3D printers or these CNC machines that help us create these models quickly for us to test them. Now, usually you can have a low fidelity type of prototype, or you can have a high fidelity prototype. Low fidelity, you would normally not put a lot of your resources in it. Unlike high fidelity, low fidelity you start is basically the initial type of prototype. So it's basically rough sketches or mock-ups that usually can create cost effectively. And basically these prototypes are often created early in the design or process to explore different ideas and concepts. And the low fidelity prototypes are usually not exactly okay, we catch the product, how we look like, or to be types latent people testing different functionality of the product, which can either be maybe the wheels, the speed, the engine, the door settings, or the basic frame of that whole car. So be different prototype. I hope I'm not talking really fast. So the general steps of prototyping are usually you design, which can either be on a piece of paper, a rough sketch, or you can design in your computer. To create something, you test it. Unakuwaga, or there is versions of it, or maybe there's different models of it, like having the iPhone. That's why you have iPhone 11, iPhone 12, because they keep testing their product. So either they will add on to the product or they will remove, because at the end of the day, whatever product you're making, it's because to satisfy the customer. It's for the customer, it's not for you. So the process of testing and iterating the act of testing and iterating is always there. So after you get that final version that you've seen with all your testing, the functionality of it, the general design of it, it's purpose of prototyping. Why is there a need for me to prototype? You need to prototype because you need to learn, okay? Learning, answering questions that about the performance or the feasibility. You need to be able to communicate. Working with a lot of people, you need to show how your prototype works, the look of it, the feel of it. You need to be able to see, does your prototype integrate with other type of systems? Does your product integrate or interact with other concepts? Okay, how the milestones which are set, because the whole process of prototyping has a form of planning from starting of designing and then drawing or iterating and designing until you have the final product that you can how do you choose the right prototyping tool? Because even this is crucial. Depending basically on what product you're making, it's very important for you to understand what product am I making and how easy is it to know what tool. And in terms of tool, I'm talking about maybe if you're going to use a computer design software to draw your design, is it applicable? Will I need something like that maybe later on to show me a simulation of it? How is it going to work before I actually make my final product? How much for me to use that tool to the end point where I can actually produce my product? So there's a lot of things that have to be considered in terms of making any type of prototype or product. Now, there are different types of prototypes. depending on what stage, what exactly type of product you're making. Now, the degree to which they're physical, there's physical prototypes, there's analytic prototypes, there's comprehensive prototype, and there's focused prototype. As I said, the type of prototype you make depend on what product. Now, with physical prototypes, these are usually, I think the name speaks for itself. Physical prototypes, these are just tangible prototypes, very simple prototypes, which you can just make the body to symbolize the concept of, I'm trying to make a phone, I want it to have certain types of buttons on it and so forth. So you basically design it to show basically helps others to visualize how it could be used in real life. It's a more, as I stated before, more of how it looks and how it feels. For analytical more basically the opposite. If you're making something really complex, a very complex system or a complex product, you will opt for making analytical because these are more expensive and they need a lot of calculations in terms of your time to make something which a tangible product before testing the simulations, or how is it going to work in like maybe a computer aided design type of software. So these are basically early functionalities, but not all the functionalities to be tested or measured. And it usually analyzes the performance and identifies potential issues, okay, before building your final product. So these that you can hold, they're more like you creating it in computer-aided design software. For the second one of the degree to which it implements its product attributes, which are comprehensive and focused prototypes. These comprehensive prototypes are data versions where you've created maybe a physical one, an analytical one, and you see the potential or usage of it. Now you make a more comprehensive type of prototype, which is an advanced form of prototyping that involves building a model with the full product and system that is meant to be to thoroughly test the usability, the performance, the accuracy of it, and so forth. Okay, so this type of prototype can also provide insights, okay, for how basically the user is going. Did somebody say something?
Right.
Sorry. Are we together, guys? I hope I'm not going too fast. Okay, let's continue. So as I said, comprehensive ones are the ones which have quality or the accuracy of the product. So it provides the user more insight of how exactly you're going to interact with your product and how it can perform, to see what exactly do you need to change and how that your prototype. For focused type of prototypes, these basically, it's when, as its name states, that product. So basically, if you are making a car and you focus the design or the prototype, making a prototype just specifying maybe the door handles or the mirrors of a car, you would use a more focused type of prototypes. So it's understanding exactly that specific function of that. So it's often used in the early type of prototyping, because as I said before, when you're prototyping, you're focused on what stage of prototyping are you? Are you just starting to make your product, or are you in the later of that product, and so forth? So for focused, usually it's on the early stage, and like for comprehensive, it's where you've tested a lot of things, so it's in the later stage of prototyping. So as I mentioned, focused, it's focused on one or two attributes, exactly how it functions, used in the early development process. And when you're limited to resources, that's when you base on a more focused type of prototype. And comprehensive and focused. Tangible artifacts created to approximate the products, used for testing and experimental. Analytical presents non-tangible, so this is basically virtual, usually for so it's basically in a system used for simulations. For comprehensive, it's usually full scale. You have you're looking at all the attributes of that product. It's fully operational, fully functioning product. For focus, you implement just a few, one or two gauge a specific performance of that attribute. Now here, I think I've mentioned so much about CAD and CAM. So CAD is a computer-aided design where you can have Autodesk. These are examples. Draw, Blender, SolidWorks. So these type of softwares basically help you create three-dimensional models of your product. Okay, I know this webinar is more focused on tangible based on software products, but I think we'll get into that later. Then we have CAM. So after you've designed your product on a computer-aided design, there are types of machineries. These machineries use computer-aided softwares are like Expire, RDWorks, and SolidWorks. So machines like CNC routers, laser cutters, CNC milling machines. These are types of machines that you would use for rapid prototyping, and they conform. Why do we do rapid prototyping? First and foremost, I should have written the first thing is we do that to reduce the time and cost. Because you wouldn't want to, a lot of innovators these days, I don't that one prototype, and if you ask them about the versions or what versions they have made until they've come up with their final version, they don't really have that. They'll just conform to just making done enough research. And with rapid prototyping, it makes you understand how much research you need to do or you have to do in order to create a product that is suited for who exactly your customers which can work very well in the States is not a product that can work very well in Tanzania. So because it depends on a lot of things, you have to see exactly who's going to use it, what type of environments they're going to use it, what type of temperature they're going to use it, and even the general consider. So why is there a need to rapid prototype? It's just the general understanding of you yourself and the customer. Because when you rapid prototype or you create a product, you take it to your customers and see how exactly they're using it and how exactly they're interacting with it. It work in the long run, because you can have a really good product that works for 1 year, but it will not be sustainable for 2 and 3 years. And there are very many things or many factors to consider because of exactly how you've made your prototype. By, the developer or the designers, there's errors that can be detected much earlier on, because you wouldn't want to create something and then you have these errors that you haven't looked over because does not work. So this also implies to the missing functionality that can be identified easily, quicker feedback from the user, also leading to a better solution. Because with everything that is made right now, whether it's phones, laptops, any type of gadgets, they usually have they're continuing to do their research, they're continuing doing their testing to see how exactly it's meant to work and what more does the user need. Are we together, or am I talking fast? Because I Okay, good. So as I said, rapid prototyping is really important for any developer, any designer, any engineer. And I believe whatever field you're in, you're a designer, because we are constantly creating different things, whether you're researching malaria, you're coming up with different things that can solve different problems. So for faster developing cycles, reducing developing cost, better designing, validation, increasing flexibility, and better product quality. So with having created or knowing all these things, prototyping, so defining the purpose of your prototype, you need to understand or to know, like, why is there a need to make this type of prototype? You need to establish a level of approximation of the prototype and outline the experimental plan. You need to create the schedule you're going to construct it, what needs to be tested, who needs to test it, and so forth. You need to also include your customers, you need to include your users in everything that you are making in order to be aligned. Is anyone talking? For that person, can you mute, please? Okay, so you have to adhere to centric designs, human-centered design. Human-centered design is basically putting the user or the person in the center of your design, because at the end of the who is going to use it at the end of the day and how they're going to use it, how they're going to interact it. So this plays a lot in terms of the products that we're making. Now, I know I've talked so much about the CAD, there are different types of technologies that are implemented in making prototypes. As I said, there are traditional ways and the modern ways right now where we're using 3D printers, three-dimensional printers. And sort forth. All those apply to different ways of us being able to rapid prototype. Others can be injection molding, others can be vacuum casting, others can the and the 3D printers. So again, depending on what type of product you're making, and what type of prototyping or what version of or phase use in prototyping. So to quickly and vividly and economically create prototypes that assess the feasibility of prototype. I think that comes to the end of my session. Didn't want to talk a lot because this can go on forever. I just wanted us to talk more rather than me just giving you this session and then more about it and so forth. And I really hope everyone understood. I hope I really did not talk fast. I was trying to avoid that so we can have time for questions and discussing. So if anyone has any questions.
Thank you, Ade, for the nice presentation. Guys, if anyone has a question, please raise your hand. I think so that we are systematic, raise your hand and we mention you and then you come with a question. So it's not necessarily questions, even contribution discussion or anything to add on. So yeah, I see Chris, you've raised your hands. Karibu.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the nice presentation. It was very, very nice. So my question is, as we say rapid means fast. So when you say rapid prototyping, it means it's a fast prototype.
Okay, yes, yes. So rapid prototyping is basically in the name itself. It's just a quick and easy way of making usually the first version of your product. Okay. Just for you to test, like, does your idea actually work or can it actually be implemented?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So the is the other prototype.
Okay, types of prototyping just depends on exactly the attributes that you're going to focus on. So you can make a prototype, or you can make a simulation of a prototype, or you can make a drawing, because even sketches, even a drawing is also called a prototype, because you want to visualize, can something like this work or be implemented? Welcome.
Joel, I see your hand, and after Joel to Shabane, you get ready.
Okay, thank you. the slide or any document that maybe someone if needs to learn more about prototyping.
Okay, I can share with you, no problem.
Okay, that's it.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
So my question is, I just was inquisitive if like the lab accepts, say, like PhD students from somewhere else who want to come and use the lab for like 3 months or something to work on their design. And are there opportunities like that for which some in terms of access to equipment and like you said, laser cutter stuff, yeah, to be able to assemble something. My interest is kind of in diagnostics. So yeah, let me know if it's possible. Thanks.
People to come as much as possible to use the lab and the type of equipments that we have, even though it's like the CNC machines and laser cutters we have in Dar es Salaam, not in Ifakara, but you can still come here at the hub in Ifakara.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
There's a question in the chat box by Agostino. He's asking if you can elaborate more experimental plan.
Basically, the experimental plan is the plan that you need to make from the beginning to the end of how exactly you're going to make your prototype and how you're going to test your prototype. And who exactly is going to be included in making your prototype and who is going to do the testing. It's the general plan of your prototyping process.
Agustina, is that clear? You can also leave, you can unmute yourself and say if it's clear, or if you wanna, if you have any follow-up question or addition. So another question from Agustino. So how to draft an experimental plan?
A draft model or a draft template that can help you with that. Oh, yeah, basically a template.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Wasato, I see you are unmuted. Do you have a question? Okay, it dropped off. It dropped off. Okay. All right. Anyone else? We still have time, guys, for we have like 15 more minutes, and I think we can have like a very nice discussion here. So karibuni.
I have a question on centric design. I have a question about the centric design. I just getting a problem how to differentiate to know to adhere this center.
What? Sorry, can you ask again?
Yes, I just need the more details about the sector centric design, because I just
Oh, this one here, when I was talking about the sector-centric design and human-centered design.
yes, but I just getting a problem on the sector centric design. Sometimes it's just confusing me on how to manage it. The sector centric design. That is my question.
What do you mean you failed to manage it?
I just saying I failed to manage because I didn't. That is my question.
Adela, did you get that question? Adela, if you're speaking, you are muted. Adela, can you hear us? Can anyone else, can you guys hear me? Or is it just me? Hello? Okay, I think Adela is having a bad internet. She dropped off. But I think she's trying to join right now, because she'll be back. Yeah, so for those who are needing the presentation slides, we'll have the presentation sent to you via emails. Since you registered for this call, we have your emails, unless you'd like us to send somewhere else, but we have a record of your emails, and so we can send these documents. We can send these documents to you guys. Yeah. Okay, on a message. I suggest we give Adela a few minutes, and then we see what happens.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, yes.
Sorry,
I can
sorry.
hear you.
I had a little issues with my computer and the internet. It kind of took me out. The one who was asking the question previously, sorry. The sector-centric design. So this usually is like based on the sector or the industrial sector that you're in. So the centric design is an approach which either it's fit sector or human-centered design. It's basically an approach of creating systems with primary focus on what exactly you're focused on creating the product on. So the central area or the central point, and then optimizing its like accessibility or functionality. So if you're looking at human-centered design, you're focusing on the human. If you're looking at sector design, you're looking at the industrial sector that your product is more focused on. So whether it's focused or optimizing the accessibility or the functionality of the aesthetic appeal, that's what you're gonna center creating your product on. I hope that makes sense, or I can send you a more written documentation on it. Chris, did you, I saw you also had.
Thanks for those. Thanks for.
Proceed, Agustino.
I say thank you for that details, but I think the document it can help me. Adela can share
Okay,
to us.
yeah, I can share with you.
Thank you.
Okay, somebody asked what skills are essential for professionally working in rapid prototyping. So rapid prototyping can be done in any field, whether you're in medicine, whether you're an engineer, whether you're a developer. That's why initially I said prototyping specifically can be based on an actual product, or if you're making an application, like developers who make, phone applications and so forth. So you don't have to be specific on what field you're in, but yeah, you don't have to be specific in whatever field, because rapid prototyping is in every type of field, whether engineering, whether you're a doctor, whether just a general IT developer, you can do rapid prototyping. Even making a card box product is also called rapid prototyping, because it's just the concept of making something and seeing if it works. I hope that answers your question, Hamisi Shabani. If anyone else has a question, they can ask. Do you ensure that accuracy? Okay, so you asked another question. How do you ensure the accuracy and the quality of prototypes created through rapid prototyping? So as I said before, there are types of prototypes. And with the whole process of rapid prototyping, there's the case of testing and iterating it. Now, there is a plan, as I spoke before, there's a plan that you make in order to checklist, okay, how exactly is this product supposed to make? And it's always something, an interaction with people. You have to be able to see, how does your prototype interact with other people? How does it interact with other systems? So you yourself have to have a plan which is laid out, and it will basically help you understand what you need to do in order for you to see that whatever you're creating it, are you on the right path or in the wrong path? Because with any system, like let's say, this is just an example, if you're making a car, okay, you have this plan of yours that you need maybe the car to have maybe a certain limit speed of this, and all these things, you know, whenever you're creating a prototype, there's standards. There is the quality management system that you need to abide to. So knowing what exactly needs to be done, how exactly you're going to get to a certain quality of a prototypes, includes planning, includes integrating with other people and other systems, and so forth. And basically also includes what type of prototype you're making.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Ade, for the nice presentation and for answering these questions. And thank you guys for the nice discussions. I think I hope that this session has been insightful to you guys, and you've got to, I don't know, add a little bit of what do I say? I don't know, maybe to call it knowledge or whatever you'd like to call it, but I hope you've got something to add. I mean, something additional that you are taking from this session, and hopefully you're going to apply to it. So I think we want to be on time. And I think this is the end of our session for today, because we have another series that is coming up, and we will share on our social medias for you to register. So for those that have been with us from the first session to this one as well, we encourage you to also join us in the other one. And if you're new, we have a recorded version on our YouTube channel. You can just write Ifakara Innovation Hub, and you'll get to see all our videos, including the recording for the previous session. So yeah, please let's keep in touch. Let's keep in touch through our social medias. And yeah, hope to see you in the next session. And yeah, we are going to send these documents to you guys via email. So yeah, and yeah, so we are going to share with you through that. Hopefully you've provided us permission to share with you as you are registering for this session. So yeah, thank you guys for joining. Hope to see you in the next session. Have a great day.